guys, it's Jane. I'm here today to do a video response to Paul from A Common Touch of Fantasy's first Dune in June video. So Paul is hosting a read-along for Frank Herbert's Dune this month. He's broken it up into segments. He's doing a video with posing some questions and then giving his answers a few times during the month. And he's asked for people to respond either just by commenting on his video or giving a video response. So I'm going to have a crack at a video response because I just feel like that sounds like fun. So anybody who's watching this who hasn't seen Paul's video, why don't you check it out and feel free to join in the conversation either by commenting below, doing your own video, or just joining in the read-along. For today, we're looking at just the first 100 pages, which is pretty much as I've read. I've never read this book before. This is a first-time read for me. I stopped reading at page 110. I was supposed to stop reading at page 100, but it took me a few pages to wind down. So this is what I'm up to. Firstly, how are you enjoying the book? I am enjoying the book. Probably a little bit more than I expected to. In my brain, Dune is a real boy book. And so I wasn't really expecting to enjoy it quite as much as I have been. So yeah, I'm enjoying the book. Secondly, what's your reaction to the political conflict? So basically, the whole story of this book is about factions fighting each other over resources, which is probably the reason why in my brain this is a boy book, because that's a classic setup for a boy book. It's about people fighting power struggle and stuff. And fundamentally, I don't actually have a reaction to the politics side of the political conflict as of yet, apart from the fact that, of course, I'm rooting for the indigents on the planet that we've just landed on, because by default they're the good guys. So yeah. Questions that you're asking, that's the third question. Questions that you're asking that are arising from the text, you're looking to get answered. I guess fundamentally I'm interested in finding out what the spice is all about. The spice is the resource that's on this planet that's being fought over, and it feels like that's going to be the MacGuffin in the book. That's going to be not just the thing that's being fought over, but also the way that stuff's going to be resolved. So I'll be interested in finding out more about that. The only really big question that has been sparked in my mind so far by the story is it's an ethical thing. That it's a really common thing when you have these political struggle books. You have people who are treating other people as pawns. They're using them as means to an end rather than as agents in their own right, which is like one of the big nod-ons of life, people. You treat people as people because people are people. They're not just ways to get what you want. So that's the thing. And the Bene Gesserit, who it seems to me like they're being written as kind of the good guys, are doing this as well as the bad guys. And so that raises big questions for me about in what sense the Bene Gesserit are the good guys. But hey, that's just me. Fourth question, how do you feel about the inner thoughts of characters being written down? Honestly, until the question was posed, I hadn't noticed. So from here on in, I'll think about that. But it just, I don't know, it just seemed natural to me. When I'm enjoying a book, I just get sucked in. I ignore all of that stuff. So all that technique and all the big decisions that the author's made about how he's going to tell the story, yeah, I just don't even see it. It just dissolves into the background. Okay, question 5. How do you feel about the lack of technology and the use of Mentats instead of computers? I'm going to be interested to see how that falls out. I am not a Luddite. I'm all for appropriate technology, but I also see that the criticism that the book seems to be making, or that the culture that this is about has made, to step away from certain forms of technology because they didn't like the way that the use of that technology affected their culture. In Neil Stephenson's terms, this is called a mystics, and every culture does this. Every culture makes decisions about which technologies they will embrace and which ones they will not embrace. It's just that when within your own culture, often you don't notice that you're doing that. And yeah, it's interesting to see how these people are doing that. So yeah, and the other part of question 5 was, how do you feel about the Bene Gesserit? But I've already said that I've got big major question marks about the Bene Gesserit and quite complex emotions about them already, as they seem to be written as the good guys, but I'm not feeling it. I am so not feeling that. Yeah. Okay, final question, question 6. Does this book feel like it was a book from the 60s? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And is it sci-fi or fantasy? Very interesting question. I am hopeless at doing this stuff, at working out what is what is what. It's not that I haven't had the definitions explained to me, it's just I haven't been convinced by them. So basically, if it's got spaceships and aliens, it's science fiction, and if it's got magic, it's fantasy, right? Right? Well, what if it's got both? Phew, I don't know. I feel like for me, the decision is based on vibe rather than structural elements in the story, which I know is completely round the wrong way. That's entirely not what this is, but for me, that's how it feels. And this one feels more like a science fiction vibe than a fantasy vibe, but who knows? I could well be wrong. That's all that I've got as far as responding to Paul. Please pipe up with your 2 cents worth if you've read the book, or even if you haven't read the book and you've got other thoughts based on this. And that's it for me, and I'll hope you're all well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.